After 7 whole years, multiple iterations of one living room, and more sanding than one person should ever have to do, I'm finally ready to finish up this sitting room and show you guys what it looks like. So let's see how I did. Firstly, as a quick refresher, let me show you what this space used to look like. These are some of the pictures from when I first moved into the house. You can really see that this space had been unloved for a very long time. I had to do a lot of work to get this sitting room looking good. The walls were plastered, the floors were sanded, installed a fireplace. You can see the hearth there looking pretty bad. This was in the first few months of living there, and then after a while it started taking shape a bit more. There were definitely more things to be done, but it's looking a bit more like a home here. It changed from a sitting room to a dining room a couple of times, but eventually we settled on this, which was the final iteration before I moved away. And then I moved away for 3 years, and now I'm back. As you might remember, over the winter time I did a lot of work in here with Hayley. I sanded these floors as much as I could. Considering they were really old floorboards that were completely destroyed, they came out looking so much better than I imagined. So I was really pleased that we did this. It really brightened up the space. And then between the two of us, we did a lot of prep work. We painted all of the walls the same color, and we did the ceilings. I also did a lot to try and touch up the ceiling rows and all of the cornicing, the woodwork, everything to make it look really nice and pristine. And then we finally had a blank canvas that we could work with, and we could start decorating. So that brings us to last month, when we started really picking up the pace to finish this room. Good morning, it is a sunny Sunday morning, and today we're going to tackle the fireplace. I asked you in a previous video about what colour might be good for over here, and I think I've settled on what I'm going to do, which is a little underwhelming, honestly. I want to go for this like charcoal black colour. It says natural slate. Because when I did this in the flat in London, I really liked it. And I've kept the mirror that went above that mantelpiece, so I'm going to try and recreate that situation here. I just think it really stood out, and it still gives off that like Victorian charm. But it's okay because we have a second mantelpiece that's going to go in that room, so maybe I can do a different colour there if we feel like it. Let's begin. It was my friend Kat's birthday yesterday, so I have to take down the decorations, and then we can begin. Look at our little baby Hayley. She's so cute. I will say, when we were doing this room, I remember getting Hayley to give this a gentle sand, but I just don't know how far she took that, so I'm going to do another gentle sand. Gonna tape up the sides, because if I get a single speck of paint on this wall, Hayley will not be impressed. I don't think she ever wants to paint these walls again. That's not the colour I wanted. I'm going. Thanks. Oh no. This is going well already. Thanks, babe. Maybe we'll keep that here. So I've done the first coat. You're going to have to bear with me because it's very streaky, but I want to show you what it looks like because I just took a step back and I was really impressed. Okay, hold on. Let's go over here. Ta-da! Obviously it needs another couple of coats, but it just looks more like a living room now and not just like a white box, which is what it was giving earlier. It just really pulls the room together. It looks so much better. We're going to find something for the TV to go on in this corner, so it also means that the TV doesn't look so stark and contrasting with the rest of the space. Don't worry about the tiles. We're going to talk about them later, but right now I'm not painting them, is all I'm going to say. Now we've got to move on to the tiles, which I did not like with the black surround. They just looked really out of place and it didn't work. If I'd painted it blue, I think they could have stayed, but I'm going to cover them up, but temporarily. I devised this plan to make sure that I wouldn't end up using paint to cover them, which would be really difficult to remove. So instead what I did is I cut some Cricut vinyl that I had lying around to size. I did this by making a stencil and making 2 copies of it, but in the end I just used an X-Acto knife to trim everything up and it looked pretty decent. I was then able to cover this with a layer or 2 of paint, and it has worked surprisingly well. And I love this fix because if I change my mind, I can always just rip off the vinyl. Always on point. Well, that looks good. With the mantelpiece finally sorted, we can work on styling some of the sitting room. And I picked up this rug recently. This was from the H&M website. I wanted something to cover the jute rug so that we could layer them on top of one another, because I feel like this big of a jute rug needs something to go with it. I thrift the majority of my home decor these days, but finding a rug secondhand is almost impossible in the charity shops. Moving on, we used this little side table as a temporary TV stand, but it wasn't my favorite thing. We just need to get the base on them. Oh my god, that's hideous.
I don't know, I haven't had a TV in so long. But usually I've had like just space and, you know, doesn't just like pop out from an alcove, which is what it's doing here.
I hate it. The television being there has absolutely ruined my day, but... Look who came all the way back from Korea.
Me?
All of us. What is a Hermione makeover without a trip to the charity shop? So Hayley and I came to this one on the island called the Storeroom. This is one that I had never been to before, surprisingly. I knew it was here, but I'd never checked it out. It's this massive warehouse full of furniture. I'm promising you guys I'm going to come here a lot more frequently in the future. But the thing I love most about this charity is that they actually do referrals for people that really need furniture at a lower price, and then for the rest of the public we can just pay full price. I think that's such a great idea, and I've always thought that every charity shop should have a system like that for people who really need a little extra help. So big love to this charity shop, and I love that we can support them. Anytime we have some donations, I think we're going to bring them here. Anyway, they had some amazing stuff, like really cool furniture. Some of the stuff they had upstairs, because yes, they had an upstairs. They had probably like 4 or 5 different rooms full of stuff. But some of the stuff they had upstairs was insane. And we were able to find a lot of the things that we were actually looking for that we had on our list since we moved back to the UK. I can't believe we'd never been here before.
Well, I can believe I've never been here, but you, I'm surprised. Oh, that's cool. My grandparents used to have one. Oops, my fingers are there, but just like that one.
This?
Yeah, I really like it.
Maybe we'll find our chairs. Look at those! No, stop. Are they bar stools though? Kind of want them. Look at those. Oh my god.
They're really cool. I haven't seen this in a while. That's it.
How much are they?
It's comfy.
There's the list on the door. Let's see. Well, that's a nice little one. Look at that. Dining chairs from £15. I love that this charity shop had a price list, so everything was the same price unless stated otherwise, but the chairs were all £15 each. A lot of the TV cabinets, like the ones we got, were £15 each. We really liked this unit if it had a change of legs, but it wasn't the right size for the alcoves. It was just like 2 centimeters too big. But we did find a couple of items that you'll see in a bit that are perfect for the alcoves in the sitting room. I can't get over how good this place is. I cannot wait to go back. I'm gonna have to take you guys with us again sometime.
This is huge. There's so much to look at. We've already bookmarked a ton of stuff that we're going to get.
That we need.
We think we might have found the dining room chairs, which is really exciting.
Morning!
Morning.
We just got a very exciting delivery that I want to show you. We did some charity shopping a couple of weeks ago now, and we finally found what we've been looking for, which is 4 chairs and some storage for the sitting room and some other stuff. So let's take a look.
And these two, they hate new furniture. They get very confused.
Take it away.
Alright, so we have these chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the cool thing about them is 2 of them have backs like this, and the other 2 are like this, so it's a bit of a mix and match. So that's really cool. Hermione found them in this massive warehouse, and I think they're gonna look great. So
yeah, we're gonna reupholster them, but they all got the same kind of mid-century style, the same kind of teak wood, so they'll go together.
finally be ready to invite people over for dinner. Next, we found these. They're perfect because they fit in the alcoves. This is where we're gonna put the TV. But yeah, these are great. They have the same kind of handles. Maybe you can see, there we go, as our furniture upstairs in the bedroom. So that's cool.
They're a little damaged, but we can try a few things to fix that before we decide to stain them. Shall I tell them about what's in the corner over there?
What is it?
What's in the corner over there?
My hand chair.
No, what's that? We went to Aldi the other day and we got one of those hot tubs, the inflatable ones, that's going in our garden. So it's looking a little packed in here, but we're going to unpack everything and get it looking nice. Look, she's such an angel. Oh no. Let's see if we can remove some of the scratches on this piece. Oh wow, this thing covers the scratches really well. I'm using Scratch Cover by Rustin's, which I found at my local hardware store, to just fill in any of the surface level scratches. It's kind of like a watery, it looks like a stain, but it's not, because it doesn't really stain the wood. It just sits in those surface level scratches and covers them up pretty well. If you have something that just needs a little bit of TLC but you're not ready to give it a full makeover, this could do the job. Look at what it did to the top of this one. This was the worst of the two cabinets and it came up looking really nice. I'm going to be using this on a lot more of my furniture because it did such a good job. I'm really impressed with how this turned out. Now it's time to put our TV in place. It's looking a lot better than it did on the other unit, but it's just too big for this alcove. So I think we'll downsize this at some point. We're borrowing this from my nan because she has my TV, my big one, and I can't take that away from her, so she's lent us this one instead. So it's fine for now. Right, it is the final day of this sitting room makeover. I have to finish this today. I have dragged this on for too long and I want it to be done so I can move on to another room. I'm just gonna fill these holes next to the mirror and then I'm gonna style it and play around with some of the things that I brought from my prop box. I've got a box upstairs full of little knickknacks that haven't found a place in the house yet. And then I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So let's crack on with that. Okay guys, I've put all of the finishing touches in place and I'm pretty sure that this is the final sitting room for now. You know I like to move stuff around. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm really pleased with how this came together. I think it looks so good. This is my favorite iteration of the sitting room to date. It just feels so cozy and inviting and comfortable, but at the same time it looks really sleek. And I feel like this is the most mature my style has been since getting this house 7 years ago. And I know it was a lot of hard work, but I'm so pleased I sanded these floors. It just looks so much better than the dark color. It allows me to have more dark items and furniture in the space without it feeling like it's closing in on me. So that was definitely time well spent as well. And I love how the mantelpiece turned out. I'm not sure how you guys are gonna feel about it because it is quite a stark color and I did cover up those tiles, but as you know, those are just a temporary fix, so it's not like I've painted over them for good. It can always be put back. Another thing that I've learned over the years, especially now that I've come to appreciate older furniture, is that if I am going to paint something, I want to make sure that there's a good reason to do so and that it is possible to put back some of those original features if I or someone else in the future decides to do so. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're doing any renovating, decorating, that kind of thing, good luck with it. Let me know how it's going in the comments below. What kind of decisions are you making? I'd love to hear about it because I am nosy. On that note, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week and I'll see you next time. Bye.